So we are really right now like teetering on the precipice of the Armageddon of library funding, and nobody is talking about it.
Welcome to CADL CAST with Capital Area District Library's Executive Director, Scott Dimstra.
As Capital Area District Library passed our most recent operational millage, thank you, voters, we wanted to raise awareness of public library funding and highlight the work of EveryLibrary, a nonprofit organization that helps secure funding and works to ensure that libraries will be available for communities, for schools, and for colleges around the U.S. Joining us today is Patrick Sweeney, Political Director of EveryLibrary. Patrick, thanks for joining us on CADL CAST.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
And I know I gave a very, very brief overview of EveryLibrary in the introduction.
Yeah.
So could you talk about how EveryLibrary formed and your mission as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So EveryLibrary was formed in 2012, largely in response to the growing anti-tax and anti-government movement that was spawned during the Great Recession. So we saw a small but very vocal minority of Americans who wanted to eliminate tax funding for libraries or eliminate libraries in and of themselves because they are tax-funded government organizations. And what we found in launching our organization as a 501c4, which is essentially a social issue PAC for libraries, political action committee for libraries, is that libraries very rarely have the tools or the resources to advocate fully on their own behalf. So when libraries are attacked, there's very little that the library itself can do. The Friends or Foundation can take far more action than the library can, but often those are volunteer groups or they're organized around book sales and library fundraisers, but not necessarily library advocacy, and that's sort of a different thing. Most of the library campaigns and elections that we see are run by a handful of community members who just want to see children learn to read. They want to see economic opportunities for their community. They want to see decreased crime rates. They just want to see improvement within their community. And they don't have the tools or tactics or training. They're not political operatives. They've never run political campaigns before. And so we developed EveryLibrary as an organization to provide tools and data and training for free to local libraries who are going to the voters. Since that time, we've grown. We've taken on some other fights on legislative issues, and we're deeply involved in the book banning issues that we're seeing today. But EveryLibrary has helped libraries gain about $2.8 billion in stable funding through tax dollars through our work. And we've worked on about 127 library campaigns, about as many school library issues and non-ballot initiative issues, so legislative work, public library closure work, that kind of stuff.
Well, just as a bystander, the work that your organization does is phenomenal, because I can tell you we have a very short millage cycle, so we go out every 4 years and ask for our operational millage. If things go smoothly, as you said, there's a small group of core volunteers that help get it passed. If there's no issues around it, it's usually very easy. As soon as there's any type of conflict or a vote no group, it gets very, very complicated. And you are totally right. The volunteers who usually sign up are not prepared or are not trained on how to respond to some of those vote no initiatives.
Yeah. And what you just said there, I think, is really, really important. We don't have a culture of advocacy in the library industry